fun to do stuff like that.
Well,
I had a ticket.
so who has to run the meeting then?
You.
The
You
vice
remember
chair.
a long
Second.
time ago?
You're the
We
sweet.
elected you to be the,
Okay, well then the meeting will come to order.
I forgot to get, don't come to order yet, I forgot to get the. The other thing is I need to make sure we have time under new business to discuss the budget.
you
It's
to make
very,
copies of this?
no, Becky just gave me this, I have to turn it in, I can have her
Okay.
give me a copy when we fill it
No,
out.
we should all have a copy so we can see what it is.
So have we all had a chance to look at the minutes? Does anybody have
Okay, hang on.
anything to comment about the minutes? Does somebody move to approve the minutes? Do I hear a motion?
I wasn't there, so I don't know if I can. Does it matter?
Doesn't matter.
And second?
Second.
Okay, I'm guessing nobody's opposed. So the Cook County Natural Resource
Point
Policy.
of order, sir. We have to do introductions of who's here and who's not. So we can save time and just say Patty K and Chuck H isn't here.
Patty and
And
Chuck
neither
are
is-
not here.
Okay.
So we jump back to number 1, now number 3.
Or Sue.
And Sue, right, I've got her down.
Oh, that's true. You'd
I
think
only
we'd
deal
notice
with
if Sue was
Sue,
gone.
She'll be here on the 21st.
Yeah, can I jump ahead here then? I'm going to jump ahead to the August 21st meeting. My nephew is a staffer for Gianforte, and he called me. There's 2 meetings going on that day. One is with the commissioners, and I think that's around 1:30, is it?
2, I believe.
Okay, but then afterwards, there's a get-together down at the thing that our former town engineer opened up down there, the little restaurant, the home fire.
Oh, they're having the
or
other
maybe
meeting
it's
down
before.
there?
There's a meeting down there as well. So that's kind of a public meeting, I guess, a meet and greet. So that would be a chance to, I don't think we're supposed to talk unless, we're not supposed to speak unless spoken to in this meeting with the commissioners, but that's gonna be more of a glad handing meeting down there, and Gianforte will probably, maybe he'll explain to us why he's gonna run for governor instead of for national office again, and, but it's a chance to shake his hand and complain if we wish.
Okay,
Whatever.
you said there's 2 meetings that day?
There's 2 meetings with Gianforte.
Okay, one is gonna be what?
Well, you know, one's down in the home fire
Yeah, I got thing in the mail on
cooking
that,
something. And then one is with the commissioners, I think, up here,
from 2 to 3.
from
Yeah.
2 to 3.
What
Okay, so I don't know if the other one's before or after. That's all.
Yeah, I didn't bring that card.
I got 2 emails.
Didn't he ask to meet with this committee?
Yes, we were requested.
We were requested to attend,
Mhm.
but I think we're supposed to keep our lips
Well,
zipped.
what I was told is they get their business done first with the commissioners, and then if there's enough time, they'll allow for public comment. And then that's why we should probably, I talked to Patty, and she did have something that she said she would like to say, you know, to them, but I didn't, and she said, I asked her, I said, well, could you send it to each person, what you would like to say? So we know, but it would be nice if we could come up with one little thing that maybe we would like to say to him.
Or maybe we could just be available to answer questions, you know, about
First of
our
all, this
committee.
is a public meeting, and it's a meeting with the commissioners. It's open to public comment. It's not that you can't comment, I'm sorry.
No, but he
So
was saying
if
that,
anybody has questions, we can ask them.
Sure.
but I thought maybe, you know, representing the group, it'd be nice if we, you know.
But we may not be putting input in during the Gianforte part. We just don't know.
Yeah, we don't know
You know,
for sure,
and-
but it'd be
and
nice
who
to be,
cares?
to be
Because the
prepared.
21st is Wednesday, isn't it?
The
Yeah.
21st?
Isn't it a Wednesday?
Not sure.
I think it is.
Okay,
So that's a special meeting.
sure. So anyway, I think
Okay.
it'd be worthwhile to go meet G40. And I passed along something from, which has nothing to do with our committee really, something from Chuck to my nephew. I told the commissioners I would pass on. The commissioners have concerns that the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission is bleeding them dry
Yeah.
on required studies and required work on the dam up there. And FERC is a terrible, terrible organization. So I told my cousin, my nephew actually, Casey, I said, mention to Greg that there could be some questions about could he help out as far as trying to just get FERC to be reasonable instead of, you know, the way they behave it's unconscionable. So that's just my opinion. Shall we go back to the Cook
In my
County?
opinion with that, since you brought it up, FERC is only involved because they have a hydroelectric plant set up there.
Exactly. If they
And
weren't,
if they didn't have the plant, they wouldn't be having a problem.
that's right.
FERC is concerned about the different variances if something can happen up there.
Yeah, but the thing is,
And they're not making money on the hydroelectricity
dam,
that's
though,
generated.
the dam, if they stop generating power,
It
the
would be under
dam
FERC.
stays the way that it is, but FERC is out of it, and it's just the state kind of looks at it from time to time, and it's not a dangerous dam.
No, the dam happens to be under Granite County, and when Granite County took the dam, they also took $1 million from Montana Energy to do any of the repairs and keep it up to par. And so most of that money is now gone or being used for stupid stuff.
I won't say that
Yeah.
that hasn't happened.
Thank you.
I
Okay.
won't say that hasn't happened. It was
Since we're
900.
not-
It was $960,000. My brothers and I got that money for the county. I'm extremely familiar with how all that went down.
Mhm. Pat McDonald was involved with it
Pat
also.
was not involved. Pat was
He
opposed.
gave me the whole agreement from Montana Power with that.
Sure, Pat had it, but he was not involved. Yeah, Pat was interested because Pat felt that the irrigators somehow owned the top 4 feet of Georgetown Lake, and that they could, with no regard to the taxpayers up there or the federal water decree from the early 1900s, that the irrigators could just draw that lake down, that 4 feet down, anytime they wanted.
Well,
Pat
there's an
is my
agreement.
wife's uncle,
Yeah, well,
and I've spent
Bill, there's a lot of
hundreds
stuff
of
going
hours
on
with
with
Pat.
that. A lot's in it, so you should show up at the county commissioners meeting to bring it up.
to bring up what?
About with the FERC and stuff like that, because as far as I'm concerned, their agreement that they made with the operator was really ridiculous, that he gets 90% and we only get 10%, and then he gets it first and he doles it out to us. It's really, and then 25 years we'll get it, it'll be turned over to us. Do you think that equipment doesn't have to be replaced in 25 years?
That's hard to know.
Made in China.
That's true. The original generators, though, lasted from June of 1900 until the power company turned it off in 1986.
Mhm. And they were making money on it, so they made sure they kept it up to par.
Right. I won't say, and of course, well, we should discuss this at some other point. The only other thing I'll say is I don't think the commissioners got a fair deal from the operator. The 90-10 I don't worry about. It's the fact that the county is responsible for all the repairs.
And all the studies and the inspections.
That's right.
And
That's
everything
right.
else.
That's right.
And they
so,
get to pay nothing.
So I think they need to go back, and there's been articles in the paper. So at any rate, the Cook County Natural Resource Policy and the Granite County Natural Resource Policy. Does anybody have any comments on these?
Well, Patty told me to tell everybody we should just go work together to see if anyone had ideas of changes in here or something we'd want to add, but she also said she didn't feel it was our place to rewrite the whole thing. She felt that that would be the planning board's job. So she's just saying that we should, see what we feel
Okay,
is.
so does anybody have any suggestions that you feel we would want to, at this time, that we would want to pass on at some point to the planning board as advice to them on a Granite County resource policy?
Well, the natural resource policy is a separate thing from the planning board. The land use is separate from the planning board. The planning board doesn't get involved with it. So I don't know where Patty's getting her information from.
Who's the one that would go to?
They have a separate committee or something like we are, and we do the research and everything else and come up with a plan like they do,
Is there
or
a
did.
committee in town here?
Well, we could be doing that.
So there is no committee?
By the way, years ago, there is a land use that one of the commissioners put up for Granite County. It was never adopted by the commissioners, but I know several people have a copy of it. John Spaeth has a copy of it. I saw a copy of it. I returned it to the commissioners.
I wonder if we should get a hold of that copy to look over.
And that would be probably better to look at than
Than the Crook County.
this one. This one has the coordination in it. That other one was
Right.
a while ago.
Who wants to take on the responsibility of getting a copy of that? And then maybe the clerk and recorder would make some copies up and make them available on the desk down there.
So then at least we can look at it.
So would you be able to call John Spaeth and ask him, or where would we get the copy that
The
is
commissioner should have it.
for Granite County?
Yeah, it was a plan that Earl Martin, I think, was the one who put it up.
The natural resource plan?
Mhm.
So that would be,
And I think John Spade, Pat McDonald, as a matter of fact, was involved with that and gave copies of it to several people. John Spade
Okay.
was one of them. So it's either down in the office.
Is it called a Granite County Land Use Plan, or what's it called?
Something like that, Granite County Comprehensive Land Use Plan or something like that.
I was gonna say we should maybe go ask Mike.
Should we be working with something that's not adopted though?
Because they gave it to me. And
this would
then
just be
I
something we'd look
gave
at.
it back to them.
If it's a land use plan, it might just give us some ideas on recommendations we'd have to the commissioners on forest management.
Because it's specific to Granite County.
Yeah,
Does anyone want me to go ask Mike right now?
Well, we don't have much time, so it's something to think about. And to
do you
have it on the
want to check with them
agenda.
after?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, like I say, I've got a jet at 3.
Okay, I'll check with him, and if there is, I'll see if he could make copies, and then I'll let everyone know, and we can pick it up.
Just email everybody that they're available in the clerk and recorders. That'd be great, just for us to gather
So how many years
information.
ago you think it was? I'm just trying to think if
Earl
Mike...
Martin was the commissioner.
More than 10 years ago, huh?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Maybe it's online.
Yeah.
When I was delivering fuel to Nick Kessler here just now, speaking of online, he said he happened on these videos that Linda Ransford and her daughter took of lots of old timers around. Ed Borenson, maybe Tex Crowley, Tiny Johnson, and as far as historical reference in the county, they're on YouTube. I don't know how you find them, but there's like 15 of them. And he said they were unbelievably interesting. Mostly these old timers. Orman, Bill Orman,
Let's see that.
couple of Lower Valley people. That's off the subject. Do we have anything more on the G&40 meeting?
I just didn't know, like I said, if we wanted to come up with a statement at all, that if we were allowed to talk, maybe there's something we all wanna, you know, instead of this person saying this and this one saying that, and then that person doesn't get in, and I just didn't know. It was just a thought I had, that maybe be a little more
A
organized.
statement
You know, not a statement, a
from the
comment.
chair. Oh, statement,
Yeah, or
comment.
Patty
Oh,
could,
Patty's not here.
I know she said she wanted to tell them that the foresters of the old day were real foresters, and nowadays they're.
Sure. And you know, Patty, or any of us, we can comment as individual citizens.
Okay.
And
Well, I was thinking from the group is what I was thinking, but that's fine, because the time is so short, I just didn't know.
I feel our group was initially formed because they were going to try to figure out what to do with the wilderness study area. But then that law got held up, right? And then it's kind of in limbo, never went anywhere. And so then now we've become this committee of forest management. So I'd like to know what's up with that law, what's up with the,
that would be interesting to know, and that was one that Danes put up, right? But Gianforte would probably know, since,
I would think so.
so,
well, I mean, why is he coming to Granite County? Is it to discuss?
He's campaigning,
he's campaigning for governor.
so that's what, but he wants to talk to us. So that was
But he asked
temporary,
to talk to our group specifically, so that's why. I'm
according
wondering.
to
Yeah, it
that.
said here, it says, his staff members specifically request that members of the Granite County Forest be invited to attend. So we were
Okay.
specifically asked.
Okay,
To
so
attend.
that's,
Uh-huh.
so it's a done deal and it's gonna happen for the 21st, right? Because it seemed like it was tentative,
Yeah, well,
so.
And that's in the commissioner's office, is it?
yes, I believe so. Yep, meet with the
Okay.
commissioners, so.
Okay.
I know I would like to just mention the thing that we're all concerned about is, you know, why can't we manage our forests anymore? Why is the only solution now is to just let these fires burn them up? You know, is there something that they can do to help us to be able to get logging through and be able to do it? Rather than it's the one solution now is to just let them burn, and pretty soon what's gonna happen when, you know, 20 years down the road when that's all we do? You know, that's just one little thing to find out if they even comprehend that at all. I don't know. They may not.
Okay, then, moving on. Do we have any new business?
Yeah, we do. Patty first, again, she mentioned that about the field trips. She would like us to possibly go around Georgetown Lake. And then if we take a trip around Georgetown Lake, she said she can show where logging has happened in the past and what it looks like today. But then she can also show Forest Service land where it's all blow down and there's nothing being done. So she wanted to put that up as a field trip for possibly in the near future.
And she'd be the scout leader, would she?
I guess.
That sounds fine. You know, she's knowledgeable on the subject.
If it's during business days, I probably can't, I work full-time.
Okay.
so-
Maybe we could do it on a Saturday or something. Do you have Saturday?
Or after work, just during the, I don't have an afternoon, I gotta take the day off to do that.
When do you get off work?
3 or 4?
3 or 4?
Yeah, and it's flexible, depends if I'm going somewhere, I can start.
We have to stop meeting like this. You're getting off of work, I'm going back to work. Okay.
I know in September, we still got some good light in September, I think. But, you know, the light gets worse as
Yeah, there's no reason why we couldn't go at
4. or
3
something.
o'clock or 4 o'clock.
Yeah, okay.
There's no reason why I couldn't, anyway.
Okay.
Any other new business?
Yeah, and then I also found out, now they're saying, you know, you guys been paying me to do the minutes, but now they're saying I can't be a member and be paid. So, I don't know. So I don't know what to do about it. Either I
What-
don't be a
what do you-
member.
What do you want to do?
I don't know yet. I need to
Okay.
talk it over with Chuck. I just found this out. You know, I never asked to be paid, but everyone wanted me to be paid, but now that I've been paid, gee, now I got enough, I'm gonna get a new vacuum cleaner, no?
That was because the one that we had wasn't a
paid.
member and she
Yeah.
was gonna be paid by the county.
But if I am not a member, then you guys are short a person. So I don't know yet, but I thought maybe I could
Well, that-
discuss it next month.
Yeah,
and-
that's okay, because the planning board is working fine with 2 members short, so.
Yeah, so anyway, maybe we can put that on the agenda.
When you figure out what you want to do,
Okay,
then why don't you let us know?
okay.
Okay.
Okay, then the last thing is, I'm sorry, this is all she gave me, I just went in there.
Okay, what do you
And I
think?
can pass it around for everyone to look at. It's, I guess that that grant that they put in for, it is for us. We get that 5,000 that came out of that grant. It was a $20,000 grant, but they only gave them like 5,000. And I guess it was given to us. So we have $5,000 right now in the budget. So what Becky wants us to do is to put out what we think we're gonna spend for this year. And I told her, you know, it's gonna have to be estimated. And then I talked a little bit with Blaine, and he said that it might be a good idea to go ahead and put down all that 5,000 in here. If we don't use it, that's fine. Becky said we could lump everything under supplies, and on here it shows, I can pass this around, FMAC copies, $76.80, FMAC copies, $7. You know, it shows here that we've spent this year $745.71. It shows on here, you know, we rented the museum and the P-Bird mail, you know, the ads, and then what they paid me. And some of my cost was also supplies. There was this and
So this $5,000 is supposed to last us for a year?
year.
Okay.
So we have to come up with this now, so she wants it right away. I don't know, do we have to vote on it? I'm not sure, but she said we could lump everything under supplies, or we could, let's say there was a good person gonna be talking in Missoula, and we all talked about it, and we decided, well, Elena, why don't you go? You go and attend it. Well, then she should get her travel money paid for. So I don't know if we want to break it down, maybe put.
She said we could have it all under supplies.
If we wanted to.
Why don't we just take her at her word? Because it sounds like it does not really limit us. We could still pay somebody's travel. And so 5,000 divided by 12 is how much a month? I mean, do they want it monthly or
No, I just have to put down the one big bulk,
Yeah.
5,000.
5,000 supplies?
Well, you can look at, can I see?
Was it pretty
Sure,
much
yeah, I
a
was
line
gonna say-
item budget? Is it a line item?
Yeah.
No, she says right now, we're a big lump, but we
Yeah.
can make it a line item budget.
Let's not complicate things.
You know, if we wanted to.
Let's just see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tickets to Cabo.
Why not?
I'll have to go to report on that.
Did you
Margarita
hear,
money.
Chuck said that you were there, that you heard him talk. Do you have anything to add?
No, I
What was
think
this?
you,
You
I
went
think
to
you
Ca-
explained it
Cabo?
pretty well.
You went to Cabo, whatever the hell it was?
Well, yeah, with the rest of the commissioners.
Once a month.
Sorry.
That's why Chuck didn't feel good. He was out partying, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh,
What meeting are you talking about?
I'm just kidding.
yeah, we're just.
Too many margaritas.
Oh, I thought that you were at the meeting.
No,
I
well,
was at the commissioners meeting where they talked about
the
the
budget.
fact that FMAC needs to come up with a budget.
Sure.
Oh,
If
okay.
they said we can put it all under supplies, let's do it. If they want something else, they can tell us in the future, and we can complicate it up.
Okay.
Don't you think? And move on past that.
$5,000 in supplies.
Yes.
And then I was to ask her if we had any money left from last year, but she does not know. Out of
Right,
that
because we got
2,000.
2,500,
Yeah.
right? The
She
2,500
did
should
not
be on
know.
here somewhere. and these should have been deducted from the 2,500, and that should be part of the budget on this form.
Yeah, and she doesn't, I said, do we get that money back? She said, I'm not sure.
No, it goes into the budget.
So-
Well, the commissioners also at this meeting said that they have no problem with rolling over what is left in the budget
Oh,
to the next fiscal year.
so we should even have
Praise the Lord.
more than that, if we only spent
Sure.
Yeah,
700
that's what I'm
and
saying,
some.
that should
So,
be, if
we
we're
spent
gonna
maybe
set it
about
up like
1,000
this,
altogether.
yeah.
Yeah,
So there's 1,500, so there's 6,500. So that's 6 $1,000 tickets and 500 for tequila.
And I know how you like to have it simple and everything, but this is the reason why we should have a treasurer to keep track of this, which we don't have.
but then if you
If
have a
you're gonna do
treasurer,
it this way.
you
We
probably,
couldn't pay them.
but shouldn't
They
they
don't
be
get
doing
paid.
that, keeping track for us?
It sounds like this all gets kept track of,
Yeah, I was gonna say.
because you know. what
Somebody's
we
certainly
spent.
gonna let you know if you run out of money.
Yeah,
Yeah, we do need to, we could, if every time that somebody, let's say Patty had to put a newspaper ad in, a copy maybe could be given to me, I'll keep it in a file and kind of monitor it, I guess.
Well, it
Sure.
could be supplies, professional services, and travel.
Yeah, she said it's these
That's
three,
it.
but we could put it all under supplies if we wanted to. Because I said, how do we know? We may not have any speakers for the whole year and no travel costs.
Then
And
it's rolled over to the next budget period.
sure.
so do
That's
we
the way
want
it
to
works.
put a little bit in for travel?
They said we didn't have to.
Yeah, that's what she said to me. She said
I
we
mean, I
could
keep
lump
coming
it.
back to that. KISS, right?
That's right.
If they don't like it, they'll tell us. No, you've got to, we were wrong. You
Oh,
can't.
really?
Yeah.
They will
They will say
definitely
that.
say they're wrong.
They will use those exact words. We were wrong. You can't just say it's all for supplies like we said.
Or they'll just get it out of pill.
Then we can just divide it amongst those three categories. All right, is there any other new
So
business?
just real quick, do we want to put it down as 5,000 or 6,500?
5,000 plus whatever's rolled over.
Okay.
Balance from the last budget period, 2017, 2018.
Let's see, plus rollover balance from 2017 to 2018? Yeah. No, this is 19 and 20, so it would be 18 to 19, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I have other business. In the last meeting, I read in the notes that you guys were discussing, the agenda is not on the website, and Mike Kehoe does post them on the website. They're under,
Oh, okay.
I can send you where they are if you guys are interested.
Okay.
It's on the Granite County website.
It's not in a location that is, like you would-
Obvious.
Yeah, like you wouldn't think to look there.
I wonder if any one of us, maybe you're acting, do you want to put your initials by this or something? Do you
No.
think we need to? I don't know.
No.
Okay. I'll get copies, I'll ask for copies to be made for each person.
Okay.
Oh, no, that's,
Okay. I want to make sure I have a copy, but,
Mike, if they have any questions, I don't know, call Patty.
Any other new business?
let me see if I had anything else.
Yes, oh, good.
No, I guess I don't, so go ahead.
I put something up on the Facebook page. Everybody's talking about NEPA, the National Environmental Policy Act. Well, they're changing it, or there's a proposal to change it, the U.S. Department of Agriculture.
But only Congress can change it, right?
Well, yeah, they're changing, they're thinking about changing it, and so there's a comment period, which they usually do, right, for the Federal Register, Department of Agriculture, Forest Service, and it's, it's 16 pages how they discuss it. But if you look online, they have the proposed National Environmental Policy Act rule. They're saying what they're changing, why they're changing it,
Okay.
what's going to be changed. And Missoula County Commissioners already wrote a letter to the USDA Forest Service regarding their opinion about the changes. And I was going to give this to Chuck,
I can take
because why didn't we get one? And the deadline has been extended from the, I think it was the 13th of August to the 26th. So if any
Is this the
comments-
letter from the Missoula County Commissioners?
This is a letter.
May I just look at
Sure.
it for a moment?
And you can read all the comments online. A lot of people don't want the changes. What it comes down to is they want to streamline the studies and everything to get it done quick. So, there's some good points to it.
I've actually filled out some of those forms and they're horrible, so the NEPA, for the snowmobile club, they wanted to know, how much damage we were doing, and it's like, we're driving on 4 feet of snow, we're not damaging anything.
Well,
But
from
it was quite the ordeal.
Yeah, from what I understand, though, the environmentalists want it like that because they want it dragged out. In the meantime, the forests are being unmanaged. So I think it's something that has to be looked
You
at.
see that, Bill?
Yeah.
On here,
Just
if you
whining
wanna-
about the fact that there's
I did put it
a
up on the
proposal to
Facebook
streamline
page.
some things, and they don't really think that's a very good idea to streamline. Make things more complicated.
And you know where Missoula's coming from.
Is there a website you can find this on?
Yeah, I put it up on the Facebook, on our Facebook, the information and the link to it. But
Okay.
it's also under the Forest Service. I was waiting for a signed letter from the commissioners, and I didn't get it, but they said basically that's it, a letter.
So do you think our commissioners are going to try to get some input in? Do we know?
Well, they've got what, next week to meet, which is the 20th?
Mhm.
And the 26th would be that following Monday, so.
Might mention that to Mr. Hinkle.
Yeah, can I take that for him?
Sure.
Okay. Thank you,
And you
Nina,
can take the letter.
for bringing that to our attention. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, I don't know who's supposed to get it, but there was something else too that came up from Steve Daines, and I didn't even bother with that one, so. A bill that he introduced,
For this, something with this.
something about the Forest Service and. But,
Yeah. I don't agree with it.
Yeah. Well,
Can you paraphrase that letter for us?
I'll put a bureaucrat to work.
if you look at the comments that are already on, you'll get an idea.
Here's
of who's
basically what
behind
they
it.
say. We agree that there are many worthy projects that could benefit from reducing unnecessary process and promptly taking action. However,
However, yeah.
the rest of the letter. However, please, yeah. However, that's the kicker.
Okay.
No, I think you're doing a good job, but, however,
Right, however.
but going back to what this, like Margie basically said, this committee, I think jobs should have been doled out to each one of us, keep track of NEPA, let's say, and this said, keep track of James's bill, keep track, so we know. This is like hit and miss, and it's, to me, again, it's like a coffee clutch. Once a month we meet and we BS about stuff. And all this stuff is getting done and we don't know about it. So how are we supposed to advise the county commissioners if we don't know about it?
It's a good idea.
Okay, I think that's a point that it would be nice to raise when we have our full membership here. Okay. Any other new business?
Should something like that be put on the agenda for next month that we want to discuss it? I don't know.
I think I had it on the agenda, didn't I? Saying exactly what is our purpose.
Well, I know Patty read that.
Well, no,
purpose.
that's not what you just said. What you just said was that the various things that we're trying to keep track of should be doled out to individual members, you know. You keep track of what Danes is doing, you know. You could keep track of
Forest Service issues.
Forest Service issues, whatever. And then between the two of you, you do all that stuff.
Well, I brought
And
it
then
up
we
to
just
Patty.
comment.
I brought it up to Patty too, and she said, I hope somebody helps me. I can't do it all myself. She said that. Well, she didn't do anything about
I
it.
don't know, I think it should be on the agenda to discuss, you know, maybe job duties of each person.
Job duties on the agenda.
Yeah.
Well, just like with this Cook County. Okay, I mean, that's 60-something pages, right?
Mm-hmm.
It would have been good if somebody went through each one of the index and say, okay, you do the
Yeah.
economics, you do the wildfires, you do
I
this.
think that's good.
And instead of us all sitting down reading the whole thing. That's just, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Moving on then, public comment. I don't see any public here. Okay, and so we're already on to next meeting and agenda items. And on the agenda is going to be Elena's suggestion for assigning, you know, we can pick slips out of a job jar or however we want to do it. And we can discuss that at the next meeting. Any other agenda items that should be added for next time?
Discussing Heidi's role, paid or unpaid.
Well, I'll talk to Chuck about it and,
We'll all have some reaction to the GN40 meeting or meetings, I imagine. So we could, you know, discuss whether or not there was anything good that came out of that.
we want to put natural resource plan on there. And if I can find something from, if Mike has something,
Right.
I mean, does
Yeah,
that,
Okay,
because
we
that's
could-
where I got it from.
because we need to, like you said, we need to get this somehow figured out for our county, and if there's one already. Did you say that the one that is there was never approved or wasn't wasn't adopted?
It wasn't adopted. Somebody did a whole bunch of work on that thing, and nothing happened with it.
Okay,
And I looked at other counties, and they have, I forget which one it was, so I've been looking at other counties. They specifically had a committee dealing with this, an advisory committee, and then they came up with it, and then they disbanded the committee once they came up with it. But it's involved, like,
Yeah, it
you know,
is
you just
involved.
don't, the maps have to be updated, and
You know,
it's a lot of,
I was looking at the Crook County and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I mean, all this stuff would have to be figured out for our county.
yeah.
I thought it was great, I read the whole thing.
Yeah.
I thought there's a lot in there we could use.
Yeah, we could use, if we could, but if we had a template, maybe that would be
did you see these
good.
maps that came out of our county recently in the last few months? And my reaction to those maps is I thought it wasn't a very good job. You know, you would hope that, for instance, and maybe we visited this subject a few meetings ago, you would hope that a map of the county would include all the county roads. It didn't. And, you know, I could name other things that I'm not sure who came up with that map, but they were getting distributed around in sort of a semi-official way. And they just weren't very good county maps.
The planning board is working on the county roads.
So my point then would be, it's not to bash whoever came up with those maps, even though I just did. My point would be, if we have involvement with maps somehow, I think we want to make sure that they're, kick-ass maps, that they're
Yeah,
good.
I agree.
That'd be my point.
Well, as I was saying, the planning board is discussing which roads are not county roads, which are Forest Service roads, which are whatever. They're in the process of doing that. And then I guess they're gonna have to come up with something showing it. They're working with the Forest Service.
There are marks, shall we say, on a map in the clerk and recorder's office that show where the county roads are. And this is work that was done by Bill Bayer when he was the county surveyor. He got a little carried away. There were a couple of roads that he said were county roads, and they weren't. To be a county road, it has to be proposed, resolved, and adopted. There have to be 3 steps for it to become a county road. And some of them were just kind of wishful thinking on Bill's part. But he did a really good job of getting, I don't think he missed any county roads. He might have overshot the mark a little bit. But I think the overshoot has been eliminated, and you can see what the county roads are if you go into the clerk and recorder's office.
That's not really that clear, because you should go to the road and bridge meetings where the people are complaining that they want their road plowed. It wasn't plowed. Oh, well, it's not a county road. Hey, I have papers that it's a county road. No, well, we don't have papers that.
Sure.
So it's.
Sure, but some people
That's why
don't.
they're going through this whole thing.
Right. Here's the problem, though. This is not a problem. Here's the fact. Just because it's a county road doesn't mean the county has to maintain it.
Oh, yeah, we understand that, but this is the problem that they're having, especially with the good neighbor policy regarding the roads.
Sure.
Who plows it, who takes care of this.
Right,
It's
this
a
is
big
an
problem.
ongoing,
Yeah.
topic of discussion between the state. The state kind of knows what they take care of. They take care of the state highways. They plow the
Right.
state highways and they fix them. Okay? And sometimes they'll help the town a little bit. Sometimes they'll plow up past the stoplight going up that way, up towards the post office, even though that is not state highway. Okay, but it is state highway up to the blinking light and then out past the Forest Service. So then you've got the county, and they have routes that the commissioners have approved for maintenance. Some on a regular basis and then some on an occasional basis. And then you have the Forest Service.
Mm-hmm.
And the main discussion is between the county and the Forest Service. Who wants to do what work? And
Especially with the roads that were ripped up a couple of years ago with the fires.
right?
And that's where everything started coming out. Who was
Right.
responsible, who was supposed to fix it. Forest Service said, we'll give you so many dollars per mile. They weren't happy with it. No,
Sure.
this is
Sure.
why it's got to be settled, and a lot of discussion about it.
Sure, but that's going to be
But that's not
ongoing
us.
forever. That's not us, right?
And it's a growth policy that's going to be in.
You assisted Bill in that frog pond. You went and saw Cameron when he was the roads guy.
Well, yeah, Cameron was the roads guy. We wanted to occasionally have the snowmobile grooming guy groom up Copper Creek, up to Frog Pond. And the groomer people said once or twice a year we'll do that. And the Forest Service sent a Forest Service cop out one day and handed the operator of the groomer a letter, which you provided me with a copy of, that said you absolutely will not engage in this activity because there's no agreement and this isn't the roads that we said you could groom, and on and on and on. And the upshot of the whole thing was the Forest Service didn't realize that that road is County Road 80. And so the Forest Service has absolutely no standing to say what goes on that road. The commissioners do. So I went to the commissioners and I said, would it be okay with you if the groomer people groomed it once or twice a season, you know, in the winter? They said, sure. So then I went out and talked to Cameron, who's now our ranger, but he was the roads guy. And Cameron said, oh, I guess there's nothing we can do about it.
Well, the county also gave us, as part of their winter travel plan,
Oh,
that letter from the county commissioners we have.
Yeah.
It says it's Frog Pond is now part of their winter travel plan.
good.
And it's actually, if you look at the Forest Service, it's actually in the Forest Service maps that we will groom it.
Oh. So that's off the subject. So, all right, do we have the agenda items covered for next time? And if that's the case, then I would hope that
I'm sorry, the budget, we should know exactly what's happening. I know it's gonna be after the fact,
Yeah,
but
we
we
should
should
put
have
the
the
budget
budget,
on.
so
Sure.
we know what we're working with.
So on the agenda next time will be a report from you. What happened with the budget thing?
No, I'll ask Becky if she could give
Good.
me, I'll make a copy of this, but I'll tell her anything changes, and we would like to know if we have a rollover balance. I told
Okay.
her that, I said, could you,
Beautiful.
but I will ask.
So you'll report on that next time?
Did she say when Sarah's coming back?
I didn't ask.
Okay then. If there's nothing else, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Okay, let's see. Ooh, we're early, when we don't
Moved.
have the bosses in
Second,
here, we get to.
all in favor? Aye. I used to be chairman of the school board here, and, you know, we didn't, I already used the word once, so I won't use it again. We didn't screw around, though. It was just like, hey, let's just get it. Bang, 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 bang. Thank you very much.
Just let
And
me know
sometimes
if
you
are
gotta
ready.
spend more time. Next meeting might be a longer one, no matter what, because it sounds like, you know, we've got some more things to discuss next time.
Yeah, I'm sure that, you know, that third one.
I'm gonna look at this
Discussing
NEPA
it.
change thing. That's interesting.
Yeah, as I said, if you want to comment, it's by, and if you look at the comments, you kind of get an idea that it, and I'll turn this off.
This is for Chuck.
It's the environmentalists that don't want it.
The environmentalist movement has used NEPA and MEPA